There are moments in life when everything feels orchestrated by something unseen, as if every path, every decision, every coincidence was leading you to this one moment. The moment where you stop, breathe, and ask, what is really going on? That moment is the beginning of your awakening. And if you're watching this right now, it means you've already heard the whisper. Something inside you is calling you to open your third eye, not just as a concept, but as a doorway to everything you've never known, but have always felt. Right now, we're going to take you on a journey more real than the one you're having in your daily life. But we'll do it together. You won't be just watching this video, you'll be living it. Because we're not just talking about spiritual awakening, we're invoking it. You're going to feel it, breathe it, and maybe, just maybe, you'll never be the same again. But first, ask yourself, who are you when the world is silent? Imagine being blind your whole life, and one day, someone touches your forehead and colors explode in your mind. That's what opening your third eye is like. It's not mythical, it's real. But it's not easy. It takes courage to see the truth, especially when you've been taught to believe in illusions. The third eye is not just about seeing visions or floating in cosmic bliss, it's about confronting the deeper layers of reality, including your own shadows. Are you ready to see what you've been hiding from?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
The third eye, also known as the pineal gland, is a real organ nestled deep in the center of your brain. From ancient Egyptian priests to modern-day mystics, this gland has been revered as the seat of the soul. It's your inner technology, but it's dormant in most people. Why? Because we've been programmed to seek truth outside of ourselves. The system wants you distracted, addicted, and asleep. But now, you're waking up. And that's the scariest thing for those in control. Think about this. How much of your life have you lived on autopilot? Wake up, scroll, work, eat, scroll, sleep, repeat. But what if you could break that loop? What if the version of yourself you know is just a placeholder, a shell? The real you is buried beneath layers of noise, trauma, and conditioning. And here's the truth. Opening your third eye is not about escaping life. It's about penetrating it. It's about seeing life with such clarity that illusions melt like fog under the sun. When your third eye begins to open, you'll notice something strange. The world doesn't change, but your perception of it does. Patterns emerge, synchronicities multiply. You'll start to feel energy, real energy within yourself and others. You'll walk into a room and know what people are hiding. You'll see through smiles, through systems, through lies. But be warned, this level of awareness can be terrifying, because once you see, you can't unsee. Are you willing to carry that responsibility? Many people think awakening is peaceful, but it's not. At least not at first. It's chaos, it's breaking down, it's crying in the middle of the night because your soul knows you're shedding everything false. But through that fire, the real you begins to emerge. And that's when the quantum leap happens, not later, not in another life, but here, now. When you stop running from yourself and face the mirror of your own consciousness. Let's talk about the leap. The quantum leap isn't just a metaphor. In the quantum world, particles don't move linearly, they jump. They teleport across space without passing through the in-between. And that's exactly what happens to your consciousness. You don't have to crawl toward enlightenment. When the conditions are right, when the heart is open and the third eye is activated, You leap. One moment you're blind, the next you see it all. Have you ever felt like time itself bent around a single moment? But how do we get there? How do we open the third eye and take that leap? It starts with silence. Not just external silence, but internal stillness. Meditation is not a ritual, it's a rebellion. Every time you sit down, close your eyes and detach from the matrix, you're saying, I am not my thoughts. I am not my emotions. I am the awareness behind them. And as the noise begins to dissolve, the pineal gland begins to activate. It's like tuning a radio. The signal becomes clearer, and then it begins to pulse. Breath is the key. Most people breathe to survive, but when you breathe consciously, you awaken dormant energies. Try this. Inhale slowly through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale through your mouth for 8. Do this for just 5 minutes a day. You'll feel it, a tingling at the center of your forehead, a warmth, a pressure. That's not imagination, that's activation. That's your inner eye waking up from centuries of sleep. And you feel it now, but be careful. This journey is not a game. When your third eye opens, it's like opening a portal. Yes, you may perceive higher beings, symbols, messages, dreams that feel more real than waking life. But you'll also meet the parts of yourself you've buried, your fears, your regrets, your deepest wounds, and you must face them, not with fear, but with love. Because the third eye doesn't just show you the universe, it shows you you. And that's the ultimate initiation. Let me tell you a story. I once went 7 days in complete darkness and silence. No phone, no light, no human contact, just me and my breath. On the third day, something shifted. I began to see light, with my eyes closed, shapes, patterns, beings. And then a voice, not external, but internal, said, "You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are the witness." That moment changed everything. I cried not from fear, but from recognition. I remembered who I was. Will you remember who you are? The world will try to pull you back. Your friends may not understand. Your family may think you're changing too fast. But that's okay. You're not here to be understood. You're here to evolve. And sometimes, evolution looks like isolation. It looks like walking away from the noise and toward the unknown. But in that unknown, there's magic, there's power, there's truth. And once you taste it, you'll never settle for anything less again. Now, let's go deeper. You've activated the third eye. You've had glimpses, but what now? You must learn to navigate the higher dimensions. Because perception without grounding can be dangerous. You must anchor your insights into action. When you see a vision of your higher self, don't just admire it, become it. Make decisions from that place. Speak from that place. Otherwise, the vision fades and the illusion returns. Will you step into the version of you that already exists in the quantum realm? It's all energy, every thought, every action, every intention. And when your third eye is open, you begin to see how energy flows. You'll notice how your emotions attract experiences, how your words shape reality, how your presence alters the frequency of the room. This isn't fantasy, it's physics. Quantum physics is finally catching up to what mystics have known for millennia. You are not a passive observer, you are a creator. The question is, what are you creating? Take a moment now. Close your eyes, breathe, and ask yourself, What am I afraid to see? Because that's where your third eye is pointing. It doesn't just show you the stars, it shows you your shadows. Don't run. Go there, sit with it, love it, integrate it. That's the real alchemy. The third eye is not about escaping this world, it's about transforming it, one perception at a time. You hear that, and no time to hear, the ideal closing inwards. Will you be the cope, even when it's uncomfortable, 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 even when it's uncomfortable. Will you close your eyes and go back to sleep? Or will you keep them open? Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's the moment your third eye opens, your relationship with reality begins to unravel. Not in the destructive way, but in a liberating one. You begin to realize that reality is not something fixed, it's fluid, dynamic, and intimately shaped by the observer, you. For your entire life, you've been taught that the world is out there, separate from you. But what if I told you that the world is being projected from within? That your consciousness is not in your body is in your consciousness? We live in a holographic universe. Science is now revealing what the mystics knew long ago. Reality is a reflection, a mirror. And the third eye is the lens through which you start to see the code behind the illusion. Imagine waking up and realizing that you're dreaming, that everything you thought was solid is actually made of vibrating frequencies. That your emotions, your beliefs, your inner state, they are the architects of the outer world. So the deeper question is, what frequency are you living in right now? When you open your third eye, you stop reacting to life, you start responding. You move from victim to creator, from chaos to clarity. You begin to realize that nothing is random, that pain had a purpose, that every heartbreak cracked you open for a reason, that even your confusion was a map drawing you toward awakening. This is the quantum leap. It's not just a jump in perception, it's a complete shift in identity. You are not who you thought you were. You are something far more vast, ancient, and powerful. But let me warn you, awakening comes with a cost. You will lose things. You might lose people. Your old identity, gone. Your belief systems, shattered. Your comfort zone, obliterated. But in its place comes something priceless. Your soul, your authentic self, the one that has been buried under years of programming, fear, and compromise. Ask yourself, what are you still clinging to that is keeping you small? Because your third eye cannot open fully if your heart is still chained to the past. We've been conditioned to believe that power lies outside of us, that someone else knows better, that we need a teacher, a guru, a system. But the truth is, the highest guru lives within you. When your third eye opens, that inner voice, the voice of your soul, becomes louder than the noise of the world. You start to trust yourself in a way that terrifies your ego, and in that trust, magic happens. Synchronicities become your new compass. Life stops being something you survive and becomes something you co-create. It's not about seeing spirits or auras. That's just the surface. The real gift of the third eye is discernment. You begin to see what is real and what is false, not just outside, but within. You'll recognize the masks you've worn, the roles you played, the lies you've told yourself to feel safe. But safety is not the goal. Truth is. And sometimes truth burns. But from that burn, something new is born. A self that is not reactive, not afraid, not asleep, but awake and alive in every cell. Have you ever walked into a room and felt something was off, but couldn't explain why? That's your third eye whispering. It's always been there. You just didn't know how to listen. But now you're learning, you're remembering, you're aligning with a version of yourself that exists beyond time and space. And this version of you, this higher self, has been waiting for you to catch up. Not with judgment, but with infinite patience. Because in the eyes of the soul, there is no rush, only evolution. The quantum leap is not linear. It's not about climbing a ladder. It's about collapsing the distance between who you are and who you're meant to be. And that collapse happens when you stop identifying with the mind. The mind is a wonderful tool, but a terrible master. It wants control. The third eye wants surrender. The mind wants certainty. The third eye thrives in mystery. Which one will you listen to? Because both are speaking, but only one will set you free. As your perception expands, so does your responsibility. You start to realize that your thoughts have power. Your words carry vibration. Your presence affects others, even when you're silent. This is not spiritual fluff. It's energetic law. And once you awaken to it, you can no longer pretend to be unaware. Ignorance is no longer bliss, it's bondage. So the question becomes, what are you thinking when no one's watching? Because the universe is always listening, you may start to feel disconnected from the world you once knew. That's normal. It's the soul's detox. The people you once resonated with may feel distant. The goals you once chased may seem empty. But don't panic. This is the void, the sacred in-between, where the old self dies and the new self hasn't yet emerged. It's uncomfortable. It's disorienting, but it's necessary. Because before the phoenix rises, it must burn. Are you willing to sit in the ashes? Now let's get practical. How do you keep your third eye open? How do you live this awakening on a daily basis? First, protect your energy, your diet, your media intake, your environment, all of it matters. Clean energy fuels clear perception. Second, commit to inner stillness. Even 10 minutes of silent meditation a day can recalibrate your frequency. Third, ask better questions. Don't just seek answers. Ask the questions that scare you. What part of me have I abandoned to be accepted? Because the third eye doesn't respond to surface-level curiosity. It responds to radical honesty. You'll notice a shift in your dreams. They'll become more vivid, more symbolic. Pay attention. Your subconscious is speaking louder now. Symbols, numbers, archetypes, these are not random. They are the language of the higher self. Keep a dream journal. Track the patterns. You'll start to see that your inner world is a map, and your third eye is the compass. It knows the way, even when your mind trusts it, even when it doesn't make sense. Especially then, and yes, there will be moments of doubt, days when you feel like you're regressing. That's part of the spiral. Awakening is not a straight line. It loops, it spirals, it revisits. But each time you return with more awareness, more depth, more clarity. Don't fear the dark night of the soul, embrace it. It's the furnace that forges your light. And when you come out the other side, you'll carry a frequency that words cannot describe, but everyone will feel. You'll start to attract differently. People will either be drawn to your energy or repelled by it. That's okay. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be real. And realness is magnetic. It shakes things, it awakens people. Sometimes it scares them. But that's not your burden. Your job is to stay aligned, to stay true, to keep your third eye open even when others try to close it for you, because once open, it becomes your North Star. Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and felt like you saw their soul? That's the third eye in action. It bypasses language and connects essence to essence. You'll find that you need fewer words, less validation, less chaos. Silence becomes your sanctuary. Truth becomes your compass. And love, not the romantic kind, but the unconditional kind, becomes your default state. Because when you see through the lens of the third eye, you see that we are all mirrors, all one, all fragments of the same infinite source. So what's next? You deepen, you integrate, you embody. You don't just talk about awakening, you live it. You walk into the matrix with your eyes wide open and choose to be a light, not to fix others, but to be so radically yourself that it gives others permission to do the same. That's the real leap, not escaping this world, but transforming it from the inside out. One breath, one thought, one moment at a time. By now you've felt it, the shift. Even if only in subtle ways, something inside you is no longer asleep. You're not just hearing words or absorbing information. You're remembering. Remembering that you are more than a name, a body, a story. You are consciousness embodied. And that consciousness is no longer content to live in the shadows. The third eye, once opened, doesn't close. It waits. It listens and it guides. This final part of the journey is not a conclusion. It's a return to the self you were before the world told you who to be. It's not about becoming supernatural. It's about becoming natural again. Real, present, whole. Most people spend their lives chasing something outside. A goal, a partner, a status. But you're learning to sit in stillness and feel the infinite universe within. That's not weakness, that's power. Now let's talk about how this awakening changes your life. Not in theory, but in practice. You begin to live with intention. You stop reacting and start responding. You become aware of the energies you allow into your space. You choose your words like spells. You begin to see how everything is connected. What you eat, what you think, how you breathe. It's all part of the same ecosystem. You are the center of your universe, and your vibration sets the tone for your reality. The third eye is not just a spiritual tool, it's a survival mechanism in a world of illusion. It helps you see through manipulation, distortion, programming. You become immune to fear tactics, to media narratives, to societal pressure. Not because you're better than others, but because you've remembered your own inner authority. You don't need to be told what to think. You know what resonates. And that knowing can't be bought, faked, or taken away. Do you remember what it feels like to trust your inner voice completely? Let's go deeper. Your third eye is now your inner GPS. But where is it leading you? Not to some external paradise, but to your purpose. And purpose is not a job description, it's a frequency. It's the unique vibration you emit when you are fully aligned with who you are. You may not know the how, but if you follow the feeling, the path unfolds. Synchronicities appear, doors open, people arrive, not by accident, but by resonance. Are you willing to trust the unknown long enough to meet your destiny? The quantum leap also changes your relationship with time. You stop seeing life as a straight line. You start experiencing moments as portals. One conversation can shift your entire trajectory. One realization can collapse years of confusion. One breath can bring you back to your center, and in that center, time bends. You experience flow. You become timeless, infinite. That's not science fiction. That's your birthright. But be vigilant. The ego will try to hijack this awakening. It will whisper, "You are more enlightened than others. Don't fall for it." True awakening brings humility. You realize you know nothing, and in that emptiness, true wisdom flows. The third eye doesn't make you superior. It makes you see that no one is superior. We are all fragments of the same divine source, playing different roles in the same cosmic dream. Can you bow to the divine in everyone you meet, even when it's hard? One of the most overlooked aspects of the third eye is compassion. You see people not as problems, but as projections of pain, stories, and unmet needs. You stop judging, you start understanding, and that changes everything. You become a presence that heals without trying. Your silence becomes medicine. Your attention becomes a mirror. People feel safe around you, not because you solve their issues, but because your energy reminds them of who they are. What part of your presence do you still hide from the world? Now let's talk about fear. Yes, fear will still come, but it no longer paralyzes you. You see it for what it is, the mind's attempt to protect itself. And so you breathe through it, you honor it, but you don't obey it, because you've learned that beyond every fear is a freedom waiting to be claimed. The third eye doesn't erase fear, it illuminates it, and in that light, fear loses its power. What fear would you face today if you knew the universe was holding you? As you deepen, life begins to speak to you in symbols, numbers, animals, dreams, colors, patterns. You'll see 1111, feathers on your path, a stranger saying the exact words you needed to hear. This is not coincidence, this is communication. The universe is alive, conscious, and now that your perception is expanded, you're part of the dialogue. You are not alone, you never were. You just forgot how to listen. Many people ask, how do I stay awakened? The answer, presence. Awakening is not a finish line, it's a practice. Daily, hourly, moment to moment, every breath is an invitation to return, to remember, to realign. And the more you practice presence, the more natural it becomes. Until one day you realize you're no longer chasing peace, you are peace. You're no longer searching for answers, you are the answer. You will be tested, not by the universe, but by your own patterns. Old wounds will resurface, old temptations will return, but now you have awareness, and awareness is everything. The third eye doesn't prevent challenges, it gives you the vision to navigate them with wisdom. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this showing me? That shift changes your life instantly. Let's not forget the body. Your physical form is not separate from this awakening. It is the temple through which consciousness flows. So honor it, nourish it, move it with love, listen to its signals. The third eye is not just cosmic, it's embodied. And when you align your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual layers, you become a channel, a vessel of light, grounded and elevated at the same time. So what does it mean to truly live with your third eye open? It means you live with courage. You speak truth even when your voice trembles. You walk your path even when no one claps. You love without conditions. You forgive without needing an apology. You create not for fame, but for freedom. You serve not from obligation, but from overflow. You become the embodiment of the frequency you once only glimpsed. You become the light, and that light is contagious. You won't need to preach. Your energy will speak louder than words. People will feel something shift in your presence, and some will be inspired. Others will be triggered. That's okay. You're not here to be comfortable, you're here to be catalytic. The third eye doesn't just awaken you, it awakens everyone you touch. Are you willing to be the one who sees clearly in a world that insists on blindness? Now, as we come to the end of this journey, I want you to close your eyes, breathe deep, and feel what's been activated, not just in your mind, but in your entire being. This is not the end, it's the beginning of a life lived in full spectrum awareness, where you see beyond form, beyond labels, beyond fear, where every moment becomes sacred, every breath becomes prayer, every action becomes art. You are not watching this by accident. Something in you called this in, and now you've remembered. You've taken the leap. You've opened the eye that sees without seeing. And from this day forward, things will never be the same. You are awake. You are aware. You are aligned.